Honda CB500X, 2022 on, review proper big bike dimensions to attract riders of all skill levels. When it came to updating the CB500X for 2022, Honda didn't need to do a lot. It was already the class-leading A2 adventure bike, made the maximum 47 brake horsepower for the license category and has been Euro 5 compliant since 2020. However, rather than simply chucking us a few token gestures, the Japanese firm set about making the best that little bit better, adding a shiny set of golden Showa separate function big piston USD forks and swapping the old 310mm single front brake setup for dual 296mm discs and two piston calipers. Elsewhere, there's a lighter swing arm that shaves just over a kilo and adds acclaimed more lateral flex and torsional stiffness. The 5-stage preload-adjustable rear shock has also been revised to match the new forks. But the good stuff doesn't stop there. Ride quality and brakes. Honda have gone to town updating the CB500X for 2022, adding non-adjustable Showa separate function big piston upside-down forks and replacing the 310mm single front brake setup for dual 296mm discs and two piston calipers. Adding to this is a 5.9 kg swing arm that shaves just over a kilo and adds acclaimed 18% more lateral flex and torsional stiffness. The 5-stage preload-adjustable rear shock has been revised to match the new forks and the bike runs on semi-nobla Dunlop Trailmax mixture rubber. The 19 inches front wheel is now lighter, too. Engine. The 471 cubic centimeters parallel twin engine remains largely unchanged for 2022. It's a stressed member in the chassis and was actually made Euro 5 compliant back in 2020. Already producing 47 brake horsepower, the performance cap for the A2 license class, Honda have now fiddled with the fuel injection settings to improve low-end torque. They've also bolted in a slightly smaller radiator, which shaves a further 100 g off the total weight. Reliability and build quality. It's hard to judge the CB500X's build quality and reliability so early on, however, because much of the 2022 model is carried over from the 2019 update, MCN owners' reviews paint a fairly good picture. Here, the old bike scores an average of 4.7/5 stars, with only one owner knocking off a star for a sticky chain. One reviewer even spoke of owning 3 in the past, with no complaints for any. Value versus rivals. The Honda CB500X has been a hit with everyone from novices to commuters, to globe-trotting explorers, with 75% of all buyers being experienced riders. Looking at the spec sheet, it's easy to see why, with a claimed circa 300 miles from a tank of fuel, service intervals of every 8,000 miles and a strong dealer network. And that's before you mention the easy handling, comfy riding position and grown-up looks. Equipment. The Honda CB500X feels very well made, and the gold USD forks and contemporary design work have all the hallmarks of a bike costing double the money. However, for a machine set to be over 6,250 pounds when it arrives in dealers, it's rather lacking in standard features. For starters, there are no optional riding modes or electronic aids outside of the mandatory ABS. They're not things that the bike needs, but even certain 125 cubic centimeters Honda scooters are starting to feature traction control to help new riders, so the option would be nice. And then there's the slim LCD dash, which is fairly underwhelming when compared to the mobile connectable TFTs now emerging on KTM's A2 compliant 390 range. It's also fairly dull, making some details harder to spot than on some of its contemporaries. Specs. Engine size 471 cubic centimeters. Engine type liquid-cooled, 8V parallel twin. Frame type steel diamond. Fuel capacity 17.7 liters. Seat height 830 millimeters. Bike weight 199 kilograms. Front suspension 41 millimeters Showa USD forks, preload adjustable. Rear suspension monoshock, preload adjustable. Front brake single 240mm disc with single piston caliper. ABS. Rear brake single 240mm disc with single piston caliper. ABS. Front tire size 110/80x19. Rear tire size 160/60x17. MPG, costs and insurance. Average fuel consumption 78.5 miles per gallon. Annual road tax £73. Annual service cost New price £6,349. Used price £5,900. Insurance group. How much to insure? Warranty term 2 years. Top speed and performance. Max power 47 brake horsepower. Max torque 31.7 ft-lb. Top speed. A quarter mile acceleration. Tank range 301 miles.